अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्या प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. So I'll project the screen. And usually I start reading a little bit, and then if anybody is ready, they raise their hand. All of them can raise their hand, and I can just call out their names in sequence, something like that. So yeah, just you can raise your hand if you are ready to read. Okay, so we read preface, and then forward was there probably, and then we started with introduction. Chani Mataji just letting you know. And in introduction, right now we are reading, it's just a small life sketch of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually living Bhagavad Puran actually, and he recommended Bhagavad, to be read by everybody, because it is a spotless Puran without any contamination. So that's why, and he is living, walking Bhagavad actually. So therefore, to invoke blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to know about his life, Prabhupada has given a quite an elaborate but still summarized biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. So yeah, Seema Mataji, if you are ready, you can start reading, please.
Mataji, it's from here, another theory of illusion.
Yeah, from here, the theory of illusion. So just let me little bit brief more that from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's childhood unto his youth, we read, and he just did similar pastimes like Krishna's, like teasing the girls there, and just teasing the people in Navadvip. So all those things we read. And how he, as soon as he was born, there was a lunar eclipse, and generally on lunar eclipse people take a bath in Ganges and they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it was an indication that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, he brought Harinam with him. So he actually specifically came to distribute this chanting of holy name, because he told us that this is the means to achieve Krishna Prem, which is the actually ultimate purpose of human life. Although we may not know it, but scriptures tell us that what is the purpose of human life after all. Even if we think deeply, then just earning money, having a house, having a good family, there the life doesn't stop, because we have to go alone, and life continues even in the next birth, next birth. But what happens is we get stuck into this particular lifetime with the family and with whatever our acquaintances are. It's not that we should get completely detached from that and we should run away from them, not like that, but how to see them as Krishna's parts and parcels, and how to serve them in that understanding to please Krishna. So this is the overall the essence of teaching of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why we are reading his life, which comes under introduction of Srila Prabhupada's whole series of these 12 cantos. So yeah, after this we will start the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so let's read, Mataji.
The theory of illusion of the Mayavad school is advocated on the ground that the theory of emanation will cause a transformation of the absolute truth. If that is the case, Vyasadeva is wrong. To avoid this, they have skillfully brought in the theory of illusion, but the world or the cosmic creation is not false, as maintained by the Mayavad school. It simply has no permanent existence. A non permanent thing cannot be called false altogether, but the conception that the material body is the self is certainly wrong. Pranam, Om, or the Omkara in the Vedas, is the primal hymn. The transcendental sound is identical with the form of the Lord. All the Vedic hymns are based on the Pranav Omkara. Tattvam Asi is but a side word in the Vedic literatures, and therefore this word cannot be the primal hymn of the Vedas. Sripad Shankaracharya has given more stress on the side word Tattvam Asi than on the primal principle Omkara. The Lord thus spoke on the Vedanta Sutra and defied all the propaganda of the Mayavad school. The Bhattacharya tried to
Oh,
defend
Mati,
himself.
just 1 second. I would just like to brief on this story that we are reading right now. So this is about a scholarly personality who was like equal in age with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grandfather. So he was extremely scholarly that even internationally his fame was there at that time. So he actually saw Lord Chaitanya, who fell unconscious by when he saw the Jagannath Puri deities first time. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya understood that okay, this is something legitimate. So he asked the people to take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that unconscious state to his home, and then on the basis of scriptures he really checked that yes, whatever ecstasy he felt or because of which he fell unconscious is true. He's not showing off or anything. And then he felt that, oh, you are a good devotee, so I mean you are a good person, so you should learn Vedanta Sutra from me, because he was a very scholarly person, but he didn't realize that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he was teaching him. For 7 days, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't speak anything. But on the last day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked that, don't you have any questions? You didn't speak anything. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was asking, didn't you understand anything? So he said, I understand everything from Vedanta Sutra, but when you explain, it becomes very complicated. So actually, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is a jnani person, like in a knowledge stream. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a bhakta, right? So he explained, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that these words which you are speaking, I mean, that will might come later. But he said that these words that you are speaking, they have different meaning, and you spoke in such a way that twists the meaning, something like that. So Prabhupada wants to emphasize again and again, you will see in so many of his literature that he always cautions us against the Mayavadis. Mayavadi means what? Mayavadi means who think that everything is Maya. Okay. They say that we all are gods. It's just the Maya is covering us. But how God can be covered by anything? He is supreme powerful. He cannot be covered by anything, right? But they propagate this teaching. Secondly, they say that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya means only Brahma is Satya and this whole Jagat is Mithya, means it is unreal. But how can they say that? Because what feelings we feel, they are real, right? We go through those feelings. So how can they say that, oh, everything is just unreal? No, that's not the truth. Prabhupada said that this world is real, this material world is real, but only thing is it is temporary. In that sense, we may call it false sometimes, because whatever thing doesn't stay is just like nothing, but it is real. So, but these Mayavadis are always emphasizing that this world is not real. We are all just covered, but we all are God, and ultimately we are going to merge in one God. So it is all against what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna is saying in chapter 2 that all are individuals. This individuality will never go. But Mayavadis are speaking that we all get merged into one just light, right? So all these principles which Mayavadi propose, Prabhupada is counter arguing those. So just wanted to give a little brief. I'm sorry I spoke a lot, but without that basis, this continuation of this won't make sense. That's why. Okay, so let's move on, Mataji.
The Lord thus spoke on the Vedanta Sutra and defied all the propaganda of the Mayavad school. The Bhattacharya tried to defend himself and his Mayavad school by jugglery of logic and grammar, but the Lord defeated him by his forceful arguments. He affirmed that we are all related with the personality of Godhead eternally, and that devotional service is our eternal function in exchanging the dealing of our relations. The result of such exchanges is to attain prema or love of Godhead. When love of Godhead is attained, love for all other beings automatically follows because the Lord is the sum total of all living beings. The Lord said that, but for these three items, namely eternal relation with God, exchange of dealings with Him, and the attainment of love for Him, all that is instructed in the Vedas is superfluous and concocted. The Lord further added that the Mayavad philosophy taught by Sripad Shankaracharya is an imaginary explanation of the Vedas, but it had to be taught by him because he was ordered to teach it by the personality of Godhead. In the Padma Puran, it is stated that the personality of Godhead ordered his lordship Shiva to deviate the human race from him. The personality of Godhead was to be so covered so that people would be encouraged to generate more and more population. His lordship Shiva said to Devi, in the Kali Yuga, I shall preach the Mayavad philosophy, which is nothing but clouded Buddhism in the garb of a Brahma.
So this Shankaracharya is the actually pioneer of this Mayavad philosophy, and he is Lord Shiva himself, right? And Lord Shiva is the greatest of Vaishnavas. That's what is told in Bhagavatam. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. Shambhu means Lord Shiva. So this paragraph is telling us that Krishna himself told Lord Shiva to go and bewilder people, because until one has 100% purity for Krishna bhakti, they will not get attracted to Krishna. So better they should do their own thing happily. So Krishna himself sent Lord Shiva that, okay, some people don't believe in me, so just give them Mayavad philosophy. At least they will follow the Vedas in some way, because Vedas are given by Krishna, so they will at least follow Krishna in some little way, right? So for that reason, Krishna actually sent Lord Shiva as Shankaracharya. So yeah, that is the essence. Yeah, move ahead.
After hearing all these speeches of the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhattacharya was struck with wonder and awe and regarded him in dead silence. The Lord then encouraged him with assurance that there was no cause to wonder. I say that devotional service unto the personality of Godhead is the highest goal of human life. He then quoted a shloka from the Bhagavatam 1.7.10 and assured him that even the liberated souls who are absorbed in the spirit and spiritual realization also take to the devotional service of the Lord Hari. Because the personality of Godhead has such transcendental qualities that he attracts the heart of the liberated soul too. Then the Bhattacharya desired to listen to the explanation of the Atmarama shloka from the Bhagavatam. The Lord first of all asked Bhattacharya to explain it, and after that he would explain it. The Bhattacharya then explained the shloka in a scholarly way with special reference to logic. He explained the shloka in 9 different ways, chiefly based on logic, because he was the most renowned scholar of logic of the time. The Lord, after hearing the Bhattacharya, thanked him for the scholarly presentation of the shloka, and then, at the request of the Bhattacharya, the Lord explained the shloka in 64 different ways without touching the 9 explanations given by the Bhattacharya. Thus, after hearing the explanation of the Atmaram shloka from the Lord, the Bhattacharya was convinced that such a scholarly presentation is impossible for an earthly creature. Before this, Sri Gopinath Acharya had tried to convince him of the divinity of the Lord, but at the time he could not so accept him. But the Bhattacharya was astounded by the Lord's exposition of the Vedanta Sutra and explanations of the Atmaram Shloka, and thus he began to think that he had committed a great offense at the lotus feet of the Lord by not recognizing him to be Krishna himself. He then surrendered unto him, repenting for his past dealings with him, and the Lord was kind enough to accept the Bhattacharya. Out of his causeless mercy, the Lord manifested before him first as four-handed Narayana and then again as two-handed Lord Krishna with a flute in his hand.
Wow.
The Bhattacharya at once fell down at the lotus feet of Lord and composed many suitable shlokas in praise of the Lord by his grace. He composed 100 shlokas in praise of the Lord. The Lord then embraced him, and out of transcendental ecstasy, the Bhattacharya lost consciousness of the physical state of life. Tears, trembling, throbbing of the heart, perspiration, emotional waves, dancing, singing, crying, and all the 8 symptoms of trance were manifested in the body of the Bhattacharya. Shri Gopinath Acharya became very glad and astonished by this marvelous conversation of his brother-in-law by the grace of the Lord. Out of the 100 celebrated shlokas composed by the Bhattacharya in praise of the Lord, the following two are most important, and these two shlokas explain the mission of the Lord in gist. Let me surrender unto the personality of Godhead, who has appeared now as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the ocean of all mercy and has now come down to teach us material detachment, learning, and devotional service to himself. Since pure devotional service of the Lord has been lost in the oblivion of time, the Lord has appeared to renovate the principles, and therefore I offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. The Lord explained the word mukti to be equivalent to the word Vishnu or the personality of Godhead. To attain mukti or liberation from the bondage of material existence is to attain to the service of the Lord. The Lord then proceeded towards South India for some time and converted all he met on the way to become devotees of Lord Krishna. Such devotees also converted many others to the cult of devotional service or to the Bhagavad Dharma of the Lord, and thus he reached the bank of the Godavari, where he met Srila Ramananda Raya, the governor of Madras on behalf of Maharaja Prataparuda, the king of Odisha. His talks with Ramananda Rai are very important for higher realization of transcendental knowledge, and the conversation itself forms a small booklet. We shall, however, give here with a summary of the conversation. Sri, Sri Ramananda Raya was a self-realized soul. Although outwardly he belonged to a caste lower than the Brahman in social status, he was not in the renounced order of life, and besides that, he was a high government servant in the state. Still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as a liberated soul on the strength of high order of his realization of transcendental knowledge. Similarly, the Lord, sorry, Mataji.
No problem.
Correct says.
I think here.
Still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as a liberated soul on the strength of the higher order of his realization of transcendental knowledge. Similarly, the Lord accepted Srila Haridas Thakur, a veteran devotee of the Lord, coming from a Mohammedan family. And there are many other great devotees of the Lord who came from different communities, sections, and castes. The Lord's only criteria was the standard of devotional service of the particular person. He was not concerned with the outward dress of a man. He was concerned only with the inner soul and its activities. Therefore, all the missionary activities of the Lord are to be understood to be on the spiritual plane, and as such, the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the cult of Bhagavad Dharma has nothing to do with mundane affairs, sociology, politics, economic development, or any such sphere of life. Srimad Bhagavatam is the purely transcendental urge of the soul. When he met Sri Ramananda Rai on the bank of the Godavari, The Varnasrama dharma followed by the Hindu was mentioned by the Lord. Srila Ramananda Rai said that by following the principle of Varnashram dharma, the system of four castes and four orders of human life, everyone could realize transcendence. In the opinion of the Lord, the system of Varnashram dharma is superficial only, and it has very little to do with the higher realization of spiritual values. The highest perfection of life is to get detached from the material attachment and proportionately realize the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The personality of Godhead recognized a living being who is progressing in that line. Devotional service, therefore, is the culmination of the culture of all knowledge. When Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared for the deliverance of all fallen souls, he advised the deliverance of all living entities as follows: the Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead, from whom all living entities have emanated, must be worshipped by all their respective engagements, because everything that we see is also the expansion of his energy. That is the way of real perfection, and it is approved by all bona fide acharyas, past and present. The system of Vanashram ashram is more or less based on moral and ethical principles. There is very little realization of transcendence as such, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected it as superficial and asked Ramananda Rai to go further into the matter. Sri Ramananda Rai then suggested renunciation of fruitive actions unto the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita 9.27 advises in this connection: whatever you do, whatever you eat, and whatever you give, as well as whatever you perform in penance, offer to me alone. This dedication on the part of workers suggests that the personality of Godhead is a step higher than the impersonal conception of the Varnashram system. But still, the relation of the living being and the Lord is not distinct in that way. The Lord therefore rejected this proposition and asked Ramananda Rai to go further. Rai then suggested renunciation of the Varnashram dharma and acceptance of devotional service. The Lord did not approve of this suggestion also, for the reason that all of a sudden one should not renounce his position, for that may not bring in the desired result. It was further suggested by Raya that attachment of spiritual realization freed,
Attainment.
sorry, that attainment of spiritual realization freed from the material conception of life is the topmost achievement for a living being. The Lord rejected this suggestion also, because on the plea of such spiritual realization much havoc has been wrought by unscrupulous persons. Therefore, all of a sudden, this is not possible. The Raya then suggested sincere association of self realized souls and hearing submissively the transcendental message of the pastimes of the personality of Godhead. This suggestion was welcomed by the Lord. This suggestion was made following in the footsteps of Brahmaji, who said that the personality of Godhead is known as Ajita, or the one who cannot be conquered or approached by anyone. But such Ajita has become Jita, conquered by one method, which is very simple and easy. The simple method is that one has to give up the
Arrogant.
arrogant attitude of declaring oneself to be God Himself. One must be very meek and submissive and try to live peacefully by lending the ear to the speeches of the transcendently self realized soul who speaks on the message of Bhagavad Dharma or the religion of glorifying the Supreme Lord and His devotees. To glorify a great man is a natural instinct for living beings, but they have not learned to glorify the Lord. Perfection of life is attained simply by glorifying the Lord in association with the self realized devotees of the Lord. The self realized devotees is he who surrenders unto the Lord fully and who doesn't have attachment for material prosperity. Material prosperity and sense enjoyment and their advancement are all activities of ignorance in human society. Peace and friendship are impossible for a socially detached from the association of God and his devotees. It is imperative, therefore, that one sincerely seek the association of pure devotees and hear them patiently and submissively from any position of life. The position of a person in the higher or lower status of life doesn't hamper one in the path of self realization. The only thing one has to do is to hear from a self realized soul with a routine program. The teacher may also deliver lectures from the Vedic literatures, following in the footsteps of the bygone acharyas who realize the absolute truth. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended this simple method of self-realization, generally known as Bhagavad Dharam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the perfect guide for this purpose.
Yeah, so far, so he defeated Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in the previous story by his arguments that how he's like giving a different complicated meaning to the verses. Okay, and then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wanted to hear the explanation of Atmaram verse, which is a very famous verse in first canto, 7th chapter of Bhagavatam. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first gave him 8 or 9 explanations, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him 64 explanations without any repetition, without anything taking from those 9 explanations what Bhattacharya gave. So that made him understand on the basis of scripture that he is not an ordinary personality. He is supreme personality of Godhead. And then Gopinath Acharya was, I think, son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya or something that we will clarify later. So he had told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya many times that he is Lord Chaitanya is supreme personality of Godhead. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was not convinced up till now. But now he got convinced and he surrendered unto him. He offered his obeisances, although he was the age of grandfather of Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya showed him four-handed form. And then he also showed him the Shadbhuj form, six-handed form, which included Ram, Krishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the three. So he had a bow and arrow in hand, he had a flute in hand, and he had a kamandalu in hand. So bow for Ram, flute for Krishna, and kamandalu for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was a sannyasi. So then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya completely understood. Then the story of Ramananda Raya starts. So another point that I wanted to make is Mayavad, about the Mayavad school, that if they are telling that everybody merges into one Brahman, then there is no scope of service at all, right? And Prabhupada has established this again and again. Even we know by our experience that soul's dharma is to serve, right? We are always serving. Even now, when we don't know all this philosophy, even now we are serving. We serve our children, we serve our families, we serve our house, we serve whatever is connected with this body, right? So actually, in one sense, we serve ourselves, but still through different via mediums, right? So anyways, our position is of serving. So soul's position is of service. But if soul gets merged, like amalgamated into one ball or something, then there is no scope of service. Then that means that constitutional position is lost, which will never happen, because that has been set up like that by Krishna, that soul's position is always to serve, and Krishna's position is also to always serve. He serves his devotees all the time, right? So there needs to be a reciprocation in love. When two persons are there, then only love is possible. And therefore, Krishna has established this again and again, that we all are individuals and we will never lose this individuality. So here, the Mayavadi theory is wrong, that we become one after we get self-realized. No, we don't become one, but we understand that we are eternal servants of Krishna, and that is self-realization, and then we start really serving Krishna. Okay, so this is the actual thing. That is just not emotional bhakti cult. No, not like that, but it is actual position of the soul. So therefore, Mayavad philosophy is not good. It actually is very, very far different from what Krishna is saying. Okay, so that was one thing. And Ramananda Rai happened to be a grahastha, working grahastha, just like all of us. And sannyasi was not supposed to meet with like worldly person, so called. And similarly, Lord Chaitanya didn't meet King Prataprudra, although he wanted to see Lord Chaitanya so much because he was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. But he didn't, Lord Chaitanya didn't meet until a long time. But this is also another story. But I'm telling Ramananda Rai story that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself went to him. He was such a caliber of devotee. He was such a exalted devotee, Ramananda Rai, although he was working in the government. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to him to ask that what is actually bhakti. Then Ramananda Rai was telling different ways, like establishing Varnashram Dharma. Varnashram Dharma means what? 4 castes and 4 orders of life. 4 castes means what? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and 4 orders of life means Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyasi. So if people live in this proper order of life in the society, then they can achieve bhakti. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that no, this is external. Only like they will be doing their materialistic activities, and they will. This is just a very very gradual progression. So then he gave something else. Then gave something else, and ultimately everything Lord Chaitanya said that this is external, this is external, this is external. But ultimately, when he said that one should take association of pure devotees and hear from them, so that Lord Chaitanya accepted. And that's what we all are doing. We hear Srila Prabhupada, right? So if you are not hearing, you can start hearing, like there is on Vani Media, there are 5 minutes short lectures of Srila Prabhupada. So we are hearing Srila Prabhupada. I hear my Guru Maharaj every day, His Holiness Srila Rompad Swami Maharaj. So like that, many people in ISKCON, they have different gurus and they'll hear from their gurus and other pure devotees also. So this is the actually way that was ultimately accepted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. So yeah, this is very packed. As Prabhupada has given us in very short, that's really great. But this is very, very packed. Okay, so last line was Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended this simple method of self-realization, generally known as Bhagavad Dharma. So how the self-realization is possible? That is, one sincerely seek the association of pure devotee and hear them patiently and submissively from any position of life. So what people do is they will hear for some time and they will say that, oh, nothing is changing, it's okay, I'll not hear. But patiently for a long time and submissively, not in a challenging mood. What they are saying, I don't agree this, I don't agree this. Not like that. They are saying something, I'll try to understand. If I don't understand, I will ask them questions. In that spirit we should learn. So this is the actually recommended way by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is called as Bhagavad Dharma, that seek association of pure devotee and hear them patiently and submissively. Hear about Krishna, right? So we will stop here today because it's almost the time. But if you have any questions, I'm okay to just log in back for 5 more minutes and we can discuss. So do you have anything? Seema Mataji or Chandni Mataji?
Mataji, note from my side.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also listening, not from my side as well.
Okay, great. Sounds good. So we will meet on the next Monday. Please keep contemplating on what we are reading. And of course, I'll be providing the recording as well if you can hear 1 or 2 times. It's just like 30 minutes recording it would be. So thank you very much for joining. It's inspiring for me also. I also get to read. It's my cherished desire to read with devotees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Appreciate it.